Welcome to Do You Know What a Query Category Is? Hey, I'm Eric, and as the title says, this video about something called a query category. What is that exactly? Well, in order to explain that, we actually need to go to a place that I don't think we have ever talked about on the channel before. I know some people are gonna say, hey Eric, that's kind of a shame, but anyway, we gotta go to Great Plains. We gotta go to Dynamics GP, and one of the cool features of GP is something called smart lists, where you can kind of build queries, and these queries can be used to show different things. So they're kind of an easy way to a data-driven report, and you can export the smart list to Excel and work with that. And whenever you ask GP users of what's cool in GP, and then smart list is quite often mentioned. So Microsoft knew that in order to attract GP users onto Business Central, we gotta have smart lists. And we know that there's no dynamic query system inside BC. So what they did, Microsoft, was actually creating something similar, and not as flexible, but with some of the same results. And we got smart lists now. But actually, let me show you how it works instead. So let's see what we got here. Oh, this is Visual Studio Code. So actually, let's start somewhere else. Let's start in a browser. So we have a property called QueryCategory, and it's kind of used to indicate a given query can be made available as views displayed on certain main entity lists. On queries, the query category property specifies one or more query categories that the object supports. On pages, query category specifies the query category that the page support. Okay, so restated in normal speak, what we can do is that we can take a query object and then we can attach it to a specific page, and then that query will show up somehow. So let's actually figure out how does this look. So if we go to Stefan's excellent GitHub repo, the msdin365bc.co.history, we can search in all Microsoft objects, and you know what? Let's search for query category. There we go. And we can see that we got 24 hits. So it's not something that has been used a lot. We can see that bunch of base app pages has a property called query category, and then it's just a string. So it's kind of just a text string. Let's see if we can find a good one. Let's keep going. Let's see if we can find something good. So you can see that it's kind of, well, here, we always use customer, so we might as well continue that. So on the customer list page, we can see that this page has a query category called customer space list, capital C, capital L. So what we can do is that if we go in and then we create not there. What am I doing? We create a query object here, something sales of some sort. And so this is query object. So for those of you who have not really played with a query object before, it's kind of the AL version of a select statement, but it's a select statement with way less usage options than a select statement has in SQL. So you can use it in code, you can use it in certain places, but this is kind of the only way where we can take a query object and make UI of it. So what we'll do here is that we will add the query category, and this has to be the same as if we want this to show up on the custom list. It's got to be like this. So query category equal customer list, and be aware that whomever wrote the documentation for Microsoft, just did some random things here. So a query can show up in more than one place. So it can, in this case, it shows up in potentially 2 categories. Multiple pages can have the same category, just to make it even more difficult. But there's no category called customer in the base app. There's not a category called items. There's one called custom list, item list. Be aware. If you need it to show up on a specific page, you have to go in and check what the query category is on that page. Query type is normal, that's good. And then what we need to do now is to create, you see, all these different things. But we need some elements at this point. And let's create something with sales. So we can do sh is sales header. And let's just add a few fields to that one. So we build a query here. So we will grab the number, build to customer number, build to name, build to city. What about, posting date, posting, custom posting group perhaps. That's probably good. So we got some fields. Then let's add another data item, sales line. There we go. Data item link. And now we need to link the two. So for whatever. So this is a join from in the query talk. So now we're creating a join here and saying that document. Why does this matter to me? Because I'm trying to set this one. So document. Let's see if we can make this work. Document. Wow. Document type equal sales header document type, comma, document, I don't know why, document number equal sales header dot number. Excellent. And now we'll add some more fields to this. We're actually using the AZ AL Dev Tools to add some fields here, which is an extension added. So number, description, unit price, quantity, amount. That's probably fine. Now we see that we have a number here because we also have a number up here. So we cannot have 2 columns with the same name in a query because the query will collapse this into a single record. So we call this, and we probably need a type also actually here. Did I forget the type column? Type. And then we could do, we can call it item number, even though it can be other things than items. So that's a query. And so the query is simple, and the only thing we have done here is that we have told that query category is customer list. So let's try to deploy this. It's deployed. Let me log in. So here's the customer list. If we go and look here, we can see that in the views we have a bunch, because I have installed the smart list thing also. But we can see here that I have sales of some sort, which is the name of my query. So if I select sales of some sort, I get the query as UI. So now I have sales header and sales line collapsed into a single record. So we can see that the first 3 lines are one invoice, 3 different items, and I can open this in Excel. So we have kind of the same functionality as a smart list from a user perspective, not from whoever creates the smart list, but from a user perspective. This is kind of the same as we have in GP. I think this opened up on a different, hang on. See if I'm able to move it onto the screen here. So we get it as Excel, just like you would in GP. And the only thing needed, apart from creating the query, is that you have to specify a query category. What you cannot do here, and I think that's perhaps also important to say, that this query, the query category is a very loose coupling, meaning that when we create this object, it has no context of where you will actually run it. So in reality, what we have here, even though this is kind of context aware that, hey, we run this from the customer list, the object has no idea that we're running it on a customer, for instance. What is the customer? So it's more like a fancy menu item just popped into this view kind of thing. And of course, if your query queries the customer list from the customer, you can suddenly see it differently. But if now we are querying sales, but we don't know the concept that right now this is the active records. That's not how it's working. But what I do like about this is that it's an easy way to make queries, give UI to queries, and it's a legal way to use queries as UI. It's still you can do some filtering here, and you see this, it's still, so you're filtering within the query, which is fine. So you cannot add more fields because that's not how queries work. So only if the fields that are working in the query. So we could do, say, units price 0, and then we get that 3rd line from the first invoice. But we cannot say, okay, now we want to query on tax liable or something that is not currently a field in the query. Anyway, now you know what a query category is, and I suggest actually using it because it's a pretty easy way to add potentially complex queries to your users, and that's helping them. So go ahead and give it a try. And if you want more videos, this one is ready for you, chosen by the almighty YouTube algorithm. So check that out. I'll see you there. Bye.